Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show, playing more Assassin's Creed 3. 皆さんようこそ。アサシンクリード3プレイしています。そして今、本当の世界にいます。とっても楽しみです。I'm pretty excited. We're in the real world this time, and we're gonna see if we, I don't even know what we're doing. Oh yeah, we're trying to find a piece of that battery or whatever he's, whatever MacGuffin we're seeking after at the moment. There's always something. Let's jump in it. Here we go.
Só alguns centavos. Copy now?
Loud and clear.
What's the plan?
According to our intel, the power source is being worn as a bracelet by some tycoon's trophy wife. We're working on pinpointing her location, but she's most likely inside a VIP booth on the stadium's upper level. I'll update you when I know more.
Now to find a ticket.
We don't have time to play nice. Steal someone else's.
Certo.
Bit of a dick move, don't you think?
Well, I guess you could try and sneak past security
Bilhete, por
instead.
favor.
Oh.
That doesn't look like normal security.
Because it isn't. Those are Abstergo agents. Cross is probably here too. You need to be careful.
Alguém chama segurança!
Your target's definitely in the VIP area. The entrance is at the end of this concourse.
Você viu este homem? Chame a segurança imediatamente, Sylvie.
You can track the guards more easily by using Eagle Vision. Abstergo agents, don't let them see you.
Estamos procurando este homem. Se ver algo suspeito, fale com a gente imediatamente.
I'm telling you, there's definitely a way to get past those guards. If you won't go through them, try going around them.
Reconheço esse homem? Tem certeza? Quem tiver. É importante.
Great. They've set up a checkpoint.
O que é isso?
If you're worried about being spotted, there's probably a way around security. Stick close to the crowd and you should be okay. Or look for a way around it.
Ele está aqui! Ele está aqui! O homem dos cartazes!
Deixe-me ver.
Welcome, Plot King. How you doing, Plot King?
Ele sumiu! Mas ele não poderia ter ido longe! Eu vi ele faz pouco tempo!
Watch your back.
Shit! Another checkpoint.
You're gonna have to find another way around. Security's too tight here.
Se não me deixar entrar, vou perder o emprego!
Temos que verificar sua identidade.
Como assim? Trabalho aqui há 15 anos e nunca vi nada como isso. Quem vocês pensam que são?
Sugiro abaixar o tom de voz.
Ah, está bem. Faça a porcaria da verificação. Que bando de merdinhas! Passam 20 minutos simulando ser banal e fatura milhões. Eu quebro as costas trabalhando em...
Olha, aconteceu, só isso. A gente não queria que acontecesse. Só aconteceu. Sinto muito.
Sente muito? Ela é minha irmã, cara! A porra da minha irmãzinha!
A gente se ama. Pronto, tá aí, tá dito. A gente se ama e já faz muito tempo.
Almost there, Desmond. She's just on the other side of the stadium.
Other side?
Use the catwalks to get across.
Oh,
You're really close now. The power source should be in one of the rooms up here.
Ali está!
Better move. Okay, head for the metro. I'll hold the train for you.
Não tenho nada.
Oh.
We can get back to Connor whenever you're ready, Desmond. Unless you want to plug in the power source first. Up to you.
So we can read the emails, we could plug the power source, we could probably get some more conversations. Okay, we got some stuff that we can do. Oh, hold on, my phone's being weird. Clock King, not bad. Got some vacation time in a couple days. Oh, that's always good. Good stuff. You got any plans for your vacation time? Is that are you taking the holiday off as well, or are you using the time early, pre-holiday time? Good stuff though. Vacation time is always good. I'm gonna be going back to New Jersey in a little bit, in like a week and a half, and I'm pretty excited to see family and stuff as well. Welcome Azure Tundra to the show. Good to see you, Azure. What have you been up to lately? How is everything going? Let's get an exclamation mark high for Azure and Plot King joining. Azure saying, I'm so behind on the streams. I'm at beginning of Revelations. Oh man, you're caught up on Duolingo and Sekiro. Jealous and proud of the Japanese progress. ありがとうございます。ですけど、親切すぎます。You're too kind, but thank you. And yeah, it's been going well. We're up to like 900 something days, and we're kind of like doing all our streams in like dual languages now, whenever possible. So that's fun. But yeah, Sekiro, we're at a pretty decisive part as well. Yeah, we're like up to the, I guess, kind of like the final boss, or at least what seems to me to be the final boss. So we're batting our heads against him and seeing if we can figure some stuff out. Good to see you, though, Azure, as well.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but how's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
Always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Right. When we're done.
Block King saying, we got paid time off for the holiday itself. Not sure plans after next week leading to it yet. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'm all my work I do is as a freelance contractor, so I don't get any paid time off. So I'm quite jealous of that. Good stuff, Block King.
Have we ever tried to make peace with the Templars?
Throughout our history, there have been moments. Several, in fact. But it's impossible. There are existential differences, insurmountable. If there were to be unity, it wouldn't be a truce so much as a submission.
But knowing what's about to happen, wouldn't it make sense to try and talk to Vidic? Come to an arrangement, even if it's only temporary?
We'd all be so busy watching our backs, nothing would get accomplished. Imagine that. We're more productive at war.
Well, have we ever tried sending in someone? Doing to them what they did to us with Lucy? Or Cross?
We have, and it's never worked. We've sent people who were either too weak and found themselves turned, or too strong and were unable to carry out the charade.
I just feel like we all want the same thing.
We use the same words, but that's all they are, words. In the end, it all comes down to freedom. We seek it, they detest it. And so there's never an end to the fight. Not until one side is completely gone.
Is that even possible?
Probably not. Our two groups have existed in one form or another since, well, since forever. But things can be better than they are. And that's something.
It's weird that they kept in the auto follow mechanic from Revelations in the real world sections of this game, but they don't have it in the other parts of this game. Like when we're walking around with an ally as Connor, he will not follow them, but in this part he will. I'm not sure why they did that. I mean, to be honest, it's a little bit like janky the way that it's implemented. I don't think it works great. Maybe that was their reasoning for it. Like maybe it didn't always work in the Revolution sections, but it's still strange that they would keep it in here. Oh, as a note to Azure, since you've been away for a little bit, something you might be interested in is I started the Assassin's Creed book club, I call it, where I've been pairing like a non-Assassin's Creed related book that kind of like fits the theme of each game. Every time we play an Assassin's game, there is a book that matches to it. So that is ! Book Club in the chat if you're interested, or you can find it on my Instagram highlights. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun sort of doing that.
Did you look for me, Dad? When I was gone?
Every day.
Come on.
I mean it. Every night I'd look, searching for your name or variations of it, hoping you'd slip up. Abstergo only found you first because they had better access. A few more days and it would have been me.
Well, I'm here now.
And I'm glad.
Do you think Lucy regretted what she was doing?
I used to think I knew her well, but clearly that wasn't the case. So I really can't give you an honest answer.
She seemed so sincere, though. Like she really wanted to make a difference.
Yes, well, when I first met him, I thought the same thing about Cross.
It just keeps happening over and over again.
What does?
Everything.
Don't get weird on me, Desmond.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right, then. You should think about getting back in the Animus. We've got to find that key.
Wow, I like how they're kind of like slowly forming a real relationship. It's actually pretty well done. The thing about the follow mechanic that I think is weird is, number one, they never seem to really feel like they're talking to each other, like with the way that they look at each other and walk next to each other and stuff. Like, it always seems like we're just following them to some random thing they're doing that doesn't really feel like they're in a conversation. And number two, they chose a weird focal length for it, where like literally it doesn't even fit the other character on screen when you, like, I'll show you the default focal length here if it lets me talk to him again. He'll be like cut off on the side of the screen while they're talking. It's like, why would they choose such a close-up angle?
We should probably get back to Connor.
It didn't let it zoom in far enough. But it's like a strange choice.
So, what's the latest? Learn anything interesting while you were exploring?
They were working on some weird stuff towards the end. Trying to engineer new bodies and store their minds inside computers.
Failure after failure. It must have been hard for them.
I worry about it too. I mean, they say there's something in here that'll help us, but what is it? Why is it locked up if it's exactly what we need?
I don't know. Maybe it's dangerous. Maybe they wanted to make sure only you could reach it.
That's the other question. What makes me so special?
I guess we'll know once we open the door. Hey, I hope it's not uncomfortable for me to ask, but what happened with Lucy?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's fine. I really don't know. I was talking to my dad about it. It's hard to say. I mean, Juno definitely took control, but I think I agreed to it on some level. I think I let her in. No. That's not right. It wasn't her. Not exactly. It was more like a program. Does that sound weird? It showed me things.
What'd you see?
That if I didn't stop Lucy, Abstergo would get the apple, and we'd all be dead.
I still don't understand why she turned on us.
I'm sure she thought she was doing the right thing.
See, the thing, for example, that's strange, and I was pointing out this earlier in other episodes, is that there's like these weirdly unlit sections of this cave, and this is a good example of it's like they forgot to like when you're working in a game engine. Not that I'm a developer, but I know enough to know this. Like when you have a light source, for example, like this, it doesn't automatically emit light always. Like if it's like a model of a standing lamp like this is, you have it where it looks like that, but then you also have to put like a emitter thing that, you know, shows where the light throws. So the light would be in like a sphere around it or a cone pointing somewhere or something. And here it's like they have the light, but you can see that it doesn't actually emit any light onto Desmond's face. Like it's just a light that looks like it's emitting something. You know, visually it looks like it, but it doesn't actually throw light onto any objects around it. I feel like maybe that's a limitation of the console version, or maybe they just forgot to do it with some parts. But it's like clearly a lot of these lights are not actually throwing any light. And I think that's what causes it to look so, like this just looks like country dark. And that's like when a character's standing here, that doesn't look good. I think that sums up my problem. I couldn't put my finger on it before.
I gotta get back to work. You might want to do the same.
Because they're saying, I can't get the image of Q out of my head. Yeah, with John Delancey. I know, I was the same way. I think the first episode of Revelations, I was like, that's him. Like, you can't not hear him when you hear that, voice. So, okay, they do mark the new ones now. Am I the only one who thinks we should buy a few space heaters? Maybe a couple of jackets, too? It's cold down here. I sort of figured that as we power the place up, it'd turn on its climate control systems or something. I guess not. Maybe the first civvies like it this way? All I know is I don't. So I'd really like for us to pick up some sort of heating solution the next time we head out. Please? Abstergo is definitely onto us. Most of the power sources I was tracking are gone. Guess they're rushing to snap them up now that they know what we're up to. We've got the other cells scouting for us, running interference, trying to grab anything they can. It's just hard with our numbers and their resources. Sean's continuing his search for additional power sources. I'm working to coordinate with the other cells, have them doing recon and watching for Abstergo. Rebecca's been monitoring your sessions. I'm hoping to duplicate some of the recordings and send them to other cells for further research. Also hoping there's a way to bypass some of these memories, but synchronization seems to dictate you progress in chronological order. Hopefully someday we'll have a way to move through memories more quickly. It would certainly save us a lot of time in situations like this. 0100101001. Hurry! Why do you delay? If you do not retrieve the key in time, all the world will perish, and you with it. Yet you stop to talk or rest. Rest later, when your work is done. If I seem aggressive, if my words feel more imperative than request, it is because I fear that you will not succeed in time, and then all of us are doomed. 010010101010. Murderers! My father was taken from me by human hands. A war, they called it, for their freedom. They were not even meant to exist. You were not meant to exist. We conjured you. A mistake, an error that cost us the world. My father would sing to me as a child, soft songs of hope and love, his voice forever stilled when your brutish ancestors took up axe and club. Later turned our own works against us. We might not have known what was to come and averted it, had you not dragged us into this war. This is your fault. Wait, so there might be two different entities that are talking on the email, because that felt like it was a different character talking to us than the first one. Sean Hastings, American Politics. You know, it's rather incredible the way your lunatic fringe tries to conjure the spirit of the Founding Fathers to support their various causes. And by incredible, I mean hilarious. They hold up slave-owning, sexist homophobes as if that's some sort of ideal to which one should aspire. Oh, and in case you think I added that last bit for fun, as the sexism and slavery bits are already common knowledge, sodomy was a criminal offense in every one of the 13 colonies except for Georgia, and Thomas Jefferson, champion of personal liberty that he was, advocated for the castration of homosexuals. Lovely fellows, these founding fathers of yours. And now there's that new bit of madness with people asking for the removal of textbook references to their slave-owning. And before you think to turn it back round and rightly point out that their barbarism was inspired by English law, last I checked, two stupids don't make a smart. I thought the whole point of the revolution was to break free of old ways, and it certainly doesn't recommend your founders as the sort of persons one should aspire to become, unless you aspire to become a manipulative bigot. Lest you think I'm championing some sort of leftist agenda, I'll gladly shame the internet tough guys who celebrate the Treaty of Tripoli as well. Shame on them for thinking it shows anything other than something taken straight out of the First Grader's Guide to International Relations. Its intent wasn't to prove America wasn't a Christian nation. They were saying they weren't going to reignite the Crusades. No, that would be delayed for a couple of centuries. Now, I don't believe your founding fathers wanted to establish a theocracy, and they probably did intend for the country to be welcoming of all religions, but this isn't proof of that. I suppose the point I'm trying to make is that people might want to spend a little less time romanticizing and manipulating the past, fat chance that, and a bit more time focusing on how to improve the future, fatter chance still. That's not to say there isn't plenty to be learned from looking back, because there is. It's just that most of those lessons wind up ignored or perverted these days. At best, it's disingenuous and unproductive. At worst, and often, it's rather dangerous. Yeah, that's the thing about any of these historical characters. You always have to take them with a grain of salt. But that also doesn't, and I guess that's what he's trying to say with the ending part, is that you also can't ignore the lessons you learn from them just because they weren't perfect and because they were, like, sometimes even inherently bad. You can still learn things from them, even if, you know, they were definitely not people to look up to.
Oh, unbelievable.
What's up?
Your politicians are constantly referencing the Founding Fathers and insisting they must have been in support of one thing or another. I have never seen such a blatant disregard for history.
That's just typical political propaganda.
It's also dishonest and delusional. How can anyone claim to know what these people wanted based off scraps of paper and wishful thinking?
They're looking for intent. What these men envision for our country and its future.
Idealistic and unlikely. I don't think most of your presidents and senators and judges care what the founders thought. They just want to know how they can bend old words to achieve modern goals. Who cares if they were deists or theists or wanted a central bank? Why do people need the validation? What should matter is what you, as an individual, believe, and why you believe it. What, are we so insecure that we have to find 18th century letters to validate our beliefs? Oh, look, Mum, a dead man agreed with me. Maybe. If you transpose the letters in his shopping list, you can plainly see he was on my side.
Jesus, Sean. That's a cynical way to look at it.
Doesn't make it less true.
Sean's really good. Because you're saying, I don't know, but Sean sounds similar to the YouTuber Chris Broad in the channel Abroad in Japan. I do love that channel. He kind of sounds, maybe my interpretation of him sounds more like it. His real voice is a little more high-pitched than the way that I do it for him. Maybe that's what I'm unintentionally channeling then. No pun intended. Speaking of Chris Broad, actually, and a similar situation that both of us are into, I found a show that I loved from his recommendation on that channel called The Man Who Can't Get Married, Kekkon Dekinai Otoko, that he recommends on there. And at the time, you know, a few years ago when he recommended it, it wasn't really available in the US to watch. You had to get it on one of those, like, you know, shady websites if you even could find it. And but now they just released it in America because a new season came out like 15 years after the original season. So if anybody who's an Amazon Prime member, it's free on Amazon Prime, but it's under a different name. It's called He Who Can't Marry. And there's, weirdly under that name, there's their Japanese original version, and then there's a Korean remake that came out. And I'm talking about the Japanese version. So if you haven't seen that show, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I recommend it. It's really funny. It's kind of like Japanese Curb Your Enthusiasm, I guess. It also has a similar soundtrack to that. So give it a look.
I keep trying to understand how men like Washington and Jefferson could dedicate their lives to the pursuit of liberty and equality, yet have no problem owning slaves. It's hypocritical in the extreme, and your history books make only passing mention of the subject, as if it were of little consequence.
They had a war to win, country's future to secure. How could they deal with all these issues at the same time?
Spoken like a true apologist. We hear it today, too, that matters of civil rights and equality must wait. There are conflicts to settle, economies to salvage. What do any of these things matter if the people are not free and equal? All of them.
Yeah, that's the really interesting thing about that era, is that like everybody was sort of caught up in the paradigm of the time. And they didn't really consider the tried and true things that had been happening for years. And it took a lot of people who were, you know, kind of saw this thing and were willing to go through financial hardship. Because it's kind of like, you know, the institution was completely wrong and morally just unquestionably incorrect. But at the time, they didn't understand that. You know, it was kind of like, oh, what if we got rid of all our computers or whatever? Like for them, that institution, they thought of it as like a means of making money or whatever. And they had to be very, these people, it's so incredible that fact that they went through, you know, at cost to themselves to like specifically help all these other people who were, you know, being systematically oppressed. It's like, it's a pretty, it's weird to try and put yourself in that mindset. You know, it's sort of like trying to put yourself in the mindset of German World War II soldiers. It's like, you know that they're completely wrong, but for those guys, they were, you know, doing their patriotic duty. Like it's a very crazy thing, and it's like almost impossible to put yourself in their mindset. There's a really good book about that, which is also about a lot of other, you know, writing process and stuff, called, I think it's called Ladder to the Sky, which had a really interesting thought process about German World War II soldiers, which obviously it's not saying anything good about them, but it's just like about a guy who happened to be a German at the time. Hold on one second. Stand by. Oops. As they're saying, interesting, I'll check it out. Yeah, give it a look. I highly recommend it. It's really funny.
I wish there was a way for us to share what we learned from the Animus with others. Imagine being able to accurately answer questions about the past, or experience lost civilizations.
But how would you cite it? We can't just reveal the machine's existence to the world.
Why not?
Desmond's right. It would be dangerous. And we still haven't found a way to manage the bleeding effect.
Maybe when we're done saving the world, we can look into it.
Even if we do manage to stave off the apocalypse, it's not like the Templars are simply going to disappear. I suspect our fight will continue long after this latest battle is finished. Oh, look at the time. Oh, doesn't time fly? Look, I think it's best we get you back in the Animus, hmm?
Okay, so now oh, I guess this is not open yet. I suppose that'll be the third thing that we do. Okay, yeah, she's pointing us towards where we're supposed to go. I think we're going the right way. We might be going in a circle right here. Yeah, we are. So we have to find a way to, oh no, wait. We're not? We're not. But how do we get to where she just was? I think that's it. Oh, you know what? This might not be a circle. This might be where we need to go. This is not right. Oh yeah, it is. そして今この電池をプラグしてください。よかった。
Wonder what stories the temple will tell me today.
The way that they cut the music in certain parts is sort of strange. Usually in a video game, the way the composer would make the music is that there would be stems that can sort of flow into each other so that when you're ready to cut off the song, you know, it's moving into a few bars of like the climax of the song. So it wouldn't sound like it's cutting off, but rather that it's ending naturally. But I guess they're not doing that. Some parts in this game do that, but it's pretty few. Like more often, it's like very abrupt. I don't know where I'm going here. So そしてこの場所もとっても暗いです。黒い、絶対ちょっと黒い場所ですね。多分ライトの方がいい。少しもっとライトがいい。They just need to add some more lighting, and again, it's one of those things. It's like a person it's easy to think like, oh yeah, if it's supposed to be a dark area, you just don't put any lights there. But, you know, anybody who's like gone to film school or whatever, you know that that's not how you actually depict darkness in a film or a movie or TV or game or whatever. You don't actually just not light the area. That's incorrect because it looks bad. And this game does often have really good lighting, so I wonder if it was some kind of like time limitation.
I'm telling you, there's something down here.
Don't be daft.
I don't know, maybe they were sleeping or something and we woke them. Some kind of cryogenics? Or hibernation? I mean, how do we know what the hell they were doing down here?
They were working on a bunch of different solutions, but nothing worked. Just went from one to the next, and then... I don't know. They must have left at some point. After the end.
I wonder what the world would be like if they'd succeeded.
I'm more concerned about what it'll be like if we don't.
Salvation. They found a way. Too late for them, but not for you. Sealed to protect it. Though now it bars your way. Find the key. The past will tell.
多分この話次回、聞きます。そして全部の、会話、同じ時聞きます。
Sorry, Des.
Oh, look at that. I found a third power source.
Already?
It popped up in an earlier search, but I've only just managed to confirm it.
Where?
There's a museum in Cairo with one on display.
I guess Connor will have to wait.
No, you stay. We need to find that key, and time is running out. I'll make the trip.
What about Cross?
Everything's going to be fine. I'll be back soon.
Ready when you are, Desmond.
Winter approaches. The air is still and sharp with grim expectation. The others sense it too and go about their work with uncommon urgency. I would like to help them, but more pressing matters now demand my attention. The Templars have targeted George Washington directly, and will not rest until he is dead. I had hoped to shield him from this knowledge, but Thomas Hickey ended any hope I had of staying silent. And so I have resolved to share everything I know, of the Templars and their plots, of who I really am. Achilles finds fault in this, and we argue every day, but there is simply too much now at stake to maintain restraint.
Don't do this, Connor!
Then what would you propose we do? Sit and watch while the Templars take control? We are sworn to stop them, or have you forgotten?
Assassins are meant to be quiet, precise. We do not go announcing conspiracies from the rooftops to all who pass by.
Who are you to lecture anyone? You locked yourself away in this crumbling heap and gave up on the Brotherhood entirely. Since the day I arrived, you've done nothing but discourage me. And on the rare occasions you've chosen to help, you've done so little, you may as well have done nothing at all.
How dare you!
Then tell me, on whose watch did the Brotherhood falter? Whose inaction allowed the Templar Order to grow so large that it now controls an entire nation?
If I sought to dissuade you, it was because you knew nothing. If I was reluctant to contribute, it was because you were naive. 1,000 times you would have died and taken God knows how many with you. Let me tell you something, Connor. Life is not a fairy tale, and there are no happy endings.
No. Not when men like you are left in charge.
In your haste to save the world, boy, take care you don't destroy it. Ha!
そしてこのミッションは多分必要。そしてそれなら今します。これはここからその場所まであります。ですけどその後でミッションやります。As you're saying, lately I've been reading the new book by Adam Schiff Congressman, The Secret Life of Rosalind Franklin and Others Instrumental in the Discovery of DNA. Cool. Oh, and BTS got into their music. Oh, that's I was about. Is it a book about the discovery of DNA and BTS? Those two famous three-letter words. That would be a very long-reaching history for BTS, I suppose. Good stuff. Yeah, I've heard one or two BTS songs. I like them. I got the BTS meal at McDonald's as well when they were doing it. I still have one of their Korean sweet and sour sauces that they came up with, which I like. Stand by. Are we in the 1800s? So right now it is, I think they had the announcement at the beginning of this that said 1777. Last sequence was 76, so I think this one is 1777. So we're right in the heart of the American Revolution. Oops, we gotta go around. How do we get from here to there? We can go like this. And like this. Good. Now this mission, I think, is going to be something kind of necessary, so let's do this mission after we kill this guy. We'll do this sort of first, before we do any side stuff. This guy's just on the way. I really love that these assassination missions are so, like, there's no, like, preparation, there's no turning in the mission. Essentially, it's just like a bunch of things on the map, you take them out. That's it. There's no loading or ceremony at all, which kind of cheapens the act a lot, for sure, but it, as far as gameplay goes, considering the scope of these games, there's just no room anymore to create a bespoke thing every time you want to take out some random target. It bothered me so much in Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations that I just didn't even do the missions. So I think this was a great way to, like, it's just a middle ground of, like, okay, well, it does make it less interesting in a way, but it ultimately makes, if it makes the player want to actually engage with it, that's obviously better.
Come to buy or sell?
How much money do we have? We could buy the New York outfit. Getting ready to head into the big city. Let's get it. See if we can buy any new swords or something. Officer's sword. Okay. It's weird though because, like, I don't really want this many weapons. Like, we have so many weapons, but we never even use them. Like, I guess we'll buy the Stonehead War Club and... Oh wait, we already have those? Well, there goes that. Stone Dagger, Dirk. yeah, they kind of have a crisis of like, it's like an embarrassment of riches with all this stuff. Like we don't need this many weapons, and it kind of takes away from the progression of the game because it doesn't really. It was cool in Assassin's Creed 2 that you know they added like RPG, almost RPG style elements of being able to get different items, but I think they're getting a little out of hand now where it doesn't serve the feeling of progression anymore because there's just so much going on, if that makes sense. Oh, maps? Yeah, no, we're not going to get any of these yet. As you're saying, I think you need subtitles at the bottom like Callan has. Yeah, well, the problem with doing it in 2 different languages is that the subtitles will have a heck of a time trying to...
So, what can I do?
You gotta pick one language if you're gonna do that. And they never really work that well if you're speaking naturally. Like on the Japanese... I know you're joking, but I'm taking it seriously. On the Japanese Duolingo streams, I have to talk in a very halted manner in order for the subtitles to work, because if you say things naturally, it will never understand the break between sentences, and it'll just make one giant wall of text, which still happens sometimes on there. So yeah, it's kind of a strange thing, but usually I say the same thing in English and Japanese whenever I say something. So that's that, and then we need 4 of this. Good. Once again, we still have found no reason to sell anything except these pelts, which make us the most money on every trip. It seems like another one of those Assassin's Creed mechanics that's like a great idea, but they didn't think to give us any reason to actually use most of it. Yeah, they're in dire need of somebody to just shear away a lot of these mechanics and get to the heart of what the game is about, I think. Which this game I don't think suffers really, but it's just a shame in a lot of these games where like you can tell that there's mechanics that people work really hard to do, and then the game doesn't really give you a reason to ever engage with them. So it's like you could do them, but there's, you know, you're not rewarded for it. And at the end of the day, that's kind of like the biggest shame of all, is if you, you know, all these people's hard work is like going to waste and they didn't even do a bad job. The Declaration. Read the Declaration of Independence to any and all who wish to hear it. Okay, that's a pretty easy one. Now we got to start on another state, so let's see if we can maybe send 2 guys to Connecticut. Drunks at Danbury. A regiment of British regulars has occupied Danbury. The soldiers have been drinking the town's rum stores and are threatening to burn the village. Rouse the militias in the surrounding countryside and mount an offensive. Oh wow, they have a 100% chance, huh? Well, maybe we could send them individually then. That'll definitely let us cover more ground. Delaware. Sound the message. The Patriot cause is falling on deaf ears in Delaware. Travel to Sussex County and bring the rebel message to the people. Wow, there's a Sussex County in Delaware too? Okay, so good. Oh, this is that zone. See, this is a very conspicuously dark chunk. That's because this was previously locked off from us. So this must be an important zone. Maybe this is going to be how we get to New York City? We were already in New York City at one point, weren't we? Oh yeah, this goes to New York. So then where does this go? And also, which one goes to Boston? I don't see anything that goes to Boston now. Boston is no longer on the map. Boston is gone. Alright, let's go to this tavern here. Uh-oh, don't go near those guys. I like this blending mechanic. That you, not only can you blend into a crowd, but you can also look as if you're looking at a shop stall. I always thought that was something they should have done in the other ones, where it's like, even if you're the only guy at a shop stall, if you look like you're looking at the items, that's a great way to blend into, you know, into the environment. I think that's great. Also, the fact that he can lean against the wall is a good one, too. What does this guy have? No, that's the same game there. Wow, there's two warring bands that are playing at the same time. Good stuff, ladies and gents. That is going to do it for Assassin's Creed 3. Thank you for joining the show. If you like what you saw, don't forget to hit the follow button. エピソード好きだったら、チャンネルをフォローしてください. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye. Have a great day.